from everybody else?
My deep ball, it has a little secret sauce to it, man.
Never get too high, never get too low, but just keep moving.
The whole story is Carlos never beat me in any kind of sports in high school.
Right.
That's a no-go for me.
That boy had plenty of chances.
Let's talk about the trending topic, the biggest overreaction of the week, in my opinion. Joe Burrow and JaMarr Chase struggling and then clearly like reversing that narrative. So I just want to get your opinion because everybody been waiting to hear what you got to say about this. What was just your response and say to it? Yeah.
Why do you think that? Why? Because I'm the captain of the team. Chase, you
the Burrow baby leader. You the team Chase. I know we all want to know what you was thinking.
Really? All right. Well, thanks, guys. I think Ace just want to hear what Ace is trying to get me hyped up, y'all. No, but seriously, like me and Ace, we talk a lot off camera. I think it helps us with our cohesion, maybe, because we don't really have a script, as we tell you. We just go in. But I think let's start with JaMarr Chase. Coming out of college, yeah, he can get the deep ball. Yeah, he can make plays downfield. Yeah, he can run routes at a pro level in a pro style offense, which he proved in college. Does he have the skill set of a Tyreek Hill coming out of college? No. Does he have the skill set or the long ball of, I say Rashard Bateman maybe might mirror him like as far as long ball, even though Rashard Bateman's hurt right now. Sorry about that, Ravens. But what I'm saying is that one of the things that made me love JaMarr Chase so much and love his tape so much is because he does so much really, really well. He got a lot of comparisons to Steve Smith because as you saw Steve Smith, like early in his career and later in his career, you could throw him a bubble screen, yards after the catch, lower body strength. Those are the things that are going to make JaMarr Chase like pop. I think in a lot of practices, they show him catching bubble screens and little option routes and different things like that. Those are the things that as Bengals fans that he's going to be a little bit different than a prototypical big time wide receiver like a AJ Green level type. That AJ Green off the break, Mike Williams, remember coming out of college, like T Higgins, it's like, big play, whatever. JaMarr Chase has an amazing skill set where his athleticism takes over and his yards after the catch, I think might be, I would need to see the over or under for that because I just think he's a tough guy to bring down. And from that in space with this trio and Auden Tate, it's just hard to double up. So he's going to have a lot of opportunities to the ball in space and he's going to make plays happen. He never was a big separation guy. Is the point that I was trying to get. It's like he's not the greatest route runner. He said Tyler Boyd's teaching me different things on how to work on my burst, how to do different things in and out of breaks. And there's different things that I pointed to you. I think we were doing a show where I was saying like there's some things that I could tell at the top of his route. He made it easy for Awuzie early in the camp. Right. So those are the things that he's got to work on. The more and more he gets comfortable, like T Higgins, didn't start balling until like week 3. He didn't even play week 1, I don't think. Right. But some guys make that jump really quick. Some guys takes them a little bit of time. The one thing that I remember about Amari Cooper, and everybody's like crowning them as the number 1 wide receiver trio or whatever, is Amari Cooper. A lot of his camp stuff reminds me of JaMarr Chase. To this day, Amari Cooper leads the league, and he's at the top behind Deontay Johnson in drops. And Amari Cooper in camp early on was thought to be a bust. People probably don't remember because it's it's like 7 years later, but he's one of them guys that he kind of has that body type, doesn't have this extreme over the top type of thing. And he wasn't an amazing route runner coming out. Those are the things that you're kind of projecting. But early on, I think JaMarr Chase's game is athleticism. I want to hear your thoughts on why you think maybe JaMarr Chase got kind of scrutinized like that, because I do see some stuff where he does separate, but it's not at an elite level of separation early on. That's not his game. And then after that, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about Joe Burrow like moving forward? Because he had some demons that I feel like he got rid of, and he was very, 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 very aggressive in the way he said he got.
I think for JaMarr Chase, I think there was a little bit of an overreaction because, we talked about it all last year. The wide receivers couldn't separate and they weren't getting separation and stuff like that. And I think that, they try to take that narrative and just say that, with just JaMarr Chase, we're going to get that separation now. And as you've always pointed out, Zim, like one of the things that JaMarr Chase is amazing at is contested catches, right? You can't have a contested catch with having a whole bunch of separation. And I think that he is a player that has proven that he can get separation in different instances, but it's not something that is every play. And I think that that's mostly because he's a complete receiver, right? You can use Chase in so many different ways that, he can catch a screen and maybe his separation is going to be throwing that small corner off of him because he's not big enough to handle him. And so I think that was really being something that was kind of overblown. And you also have to think about the fact he hasn't played since 2019. He's learning the pro offense. He's getting more established with Joe. It's a new and different speed. We hear about this all the time from different players that are rookies. What is the first thing that you had to get used to? I think back to Tyler Boyd. He said the speed. What was the first thing that you had to get used to that was a difference between college and the NFL? T. Higgins, the speed. So he's got to be able to get used to that. So give him the time to do that, right? Like, so, yeah, he might be draped in coverage because he might not know what route he's supposed to run, or he might not know what to expect from the corner. He's got to be able to read that and implement some of the new stuff that he's learning. And I think once he gets that mentally, once the light comes on, he will be perfectly just fine. So I think it was just an overreaction to JaMarr Chase. And I don't think that, if that was the case, he's not third on the depth chart. He's starting, day one. We're not seeing Auden Tate is killing it at camp, but you still see that JaMarr Chase is number one. So they clearly believe in Chase. And with the Joe Burrow thing, I felt like that was kind of ridiculous too, because it was very early in camp. And this guy is coming off of, a major knee injury from last season. Obviously, he's got to get in a rhythm. Obviously, he's got to knock the rust off and get back in shape. And I don't think that they really gave him the time to do that. We all knew that there was mental hurdles and stuff like that, but we felt like, he's mentally strong enough. Yeah, he's going to go through that, but he'll eventually get over it. We're not expecting him to get over it from the very beginning of camp and to just be on point. I think back to when we were talking to TJ Houshmandzadeh, and right after Joe Burrow won the championship, he took 2 weeks off and he met with TJ and they were throwing. And TJ was like, man, I don't know if he's looking like, the number one pick in the draft. Right. And then after a few practices, he was like, a ball didn't hit the ground. And I think that's what we saw with Joe Burrow. He came out and said what was on his mind. And then it was straight fire after that. I think him just admitting it to the media kind of lit a torch up under him to kind of get everything going. And like he said on NFL Network, that's not happening anymore. We torching the defense now. So it's going to be a whole lot of orange. It's going to be a whole lot of Burrow babies and a whole lot of points getting put on the scoreboard. And, let's stop it with the clickbait false narratives, because that's all it is I feel like it's for clicks. And we'll see what he's really made of when he steps out there on the field. And I'm for sure that him and Joe Burrow will be plenty of ready once that day comes.
I agree. I mean, I think early on, I think it was kind of crazy, though, that, all those reports came out, right? And then don't you feel like immediately JaMarr and Burrow,
both of them,
they both came out, and then we see NFL Network comes out there to camp. I think I posted it where Joe Burrow's like the first person, like he's like, yeah. James Jones asked him, he said, hey, the defense been getting at you guys a little bit. And Joe Burrow said, yeah, that was early on. Ask him about like right now or something like that, right? I don't want to misquote it, but he's like, yeah, but ask him what's going on right now. And I was just like, man, like, y'all ever talk to somebody that's not a Bengals fan about Joe Burrow? Like they don't get it, bro. They don't get it. And it's like the craziest thing. Like even me doing the thing, I kind of had to humble myself when we were talking to PFF and stuff. Right. I play around. I'm like, yeah, a whole lot of orange and stuff, but they don't get it. Like it's a fire and it's a tenacity and it's a charisma that Joe Burrow has. And I think it was so great. And these are learning lessons too. He's telling you like, hey, look, I'm not perfect. I came in. Yeah, it was some mental stuff I had to get past. The pocket was looking muddy to me. Like I didn't know what was going on. Right. I'm human. But I came back out there and I lit them boys up. And now I got my mojo back. And then like I said, JaMarr came out and he was killing them. And all the guys around him, even Auden Tate, say, man, listen, like dude been picking up the offense, doing really good. I saw somebody in the comments say, like, maybe he won't start or something like that. Like, listen, he has to. Like, that's not even a question. Like, he's going to go crazy. Like, that I could see, I think I predicted this. Maybe he didn't have a crazy game, but I predict the touchdown from JaMarr Chase week 1 just on the strength of breaking a tackle and just going to the house. Like I could just see that it might be 60, 70 yards for the whole entire game, 4 catches or something. But he might just break that one, and he's going to put the whole league on notice. And what it's going to do is set up T for like these one-on-one things. It's going to set up like so much stuff. I think I was doing film like a year or two ago. It was 2 years ago. And I was just showing people like the alignment of Pittsburgh when they play us. It was like everything shaded to AJ Green, no speed on the other side. Like it was ridiculous. And he still was getting off. He was still coming out, like 90 yards, 100 yards. But, like now teams just can't do that. And I just think that JaMarr Chase is going to reap the benefits of it. And Joe's going to have some times where he's going to be down and up throughout the year. And I encourage you to let people know, like, this is not a sprint. As much as I say I'm going to go 100 miles per hour and I come on here and I talk all like this is, I go like that every day. But sometimes you got to put things into perspective. He is going to go up against some really good defenses. He might have some really, really bad games that we'd be like, damn, he looked rough. I mean, that's how all these guys are. Russell Wilson, look at Tom Brady before they even went on their Super Bowl run last year. He looked really bad. People were talking about benching him. People were talking about Tom Brady, like the system isn't right for him. All these different things. Catches fire, get into a rhythm.
Next thing you know, he got 40 touchdowns at the end of the season. They were dogging Tom Brady. They were dogging him.
That was the one thing I was telling Ace. I said, man, this year I'm going to try to. I'm gonna be hyped. It's a whole lot of orange, but I gotta kind of like bring it down sometimes. And these gut reactions, I understand. Like Cincinnati natives is like it's like when something goes bad, it's really really bad. But I just think long term, he's just gonna go crazy, and it's just like. Just stay the course. We're going to be all right. The key is just to keep them healthy.